let's go to the hotline. And let's bring in an old friend of mine. He's an Arlington High School grad, also a Boomer Sooner grad as well. Okay. He works up in the Texoma area for KTEN. It's sports reporter Brigg Bates. Brigg, how's it going, man?
What's up?
It's so exciting to have you on. I guess we saw each other at SEC Media Days, but it's been a while before that. But thanks for coming on. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, no doubt. Thanks for having me.
So when we like to get to know our guys a little bit when we bring them on, our sports reporters around the state. So why don't you go ahead and give yourself an elevator pitch here? Kind of tell us about yourself. I kind of already started that for you, but tell us about yourself and how you got to where you are now.
Awesome. Yeah. So went to Arlington High and junior year, I think I just started filming videos of the football team and just started posting each play-by-play, kind of big plays only. And did that senior year as well, and kind of got a little following there, and that's kind of what led me to try to want to get into sports, and then I went to OU, and obviously, it's number 2 journalism program in the nation up there, and they do a really great job, and I'm really grateful and thankful for of all the experience and opportunities I got at OU. And then now, I think 8 months now on the job up here in Sherman, Denison area, covering the Texoma region. Really like what I do. Really love the kind of small town feel, and it's the perfect kind of middle spot. Norman, up the road in Oklahoma, Arlington only about an hour and a half away. So it's really cool because I get a little best of both worlds with Texas and Oklahoma sports, and the people up here are just awesome.
And I wanted to ask you that a little bit. You're kind of up there by the Red River, so you got to cover Texas high school football as well as Oklahoma high school football. What's the comparison there? I'm really curious to see, is Texas high school football bigger? What's Oklahoma, Friday Night Lights? Kind of tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah. So, I think, I'm being from Texas, I don't think anything really compares to the Texas high school football scene. But I think Oklahoma's, right there, you get the small town communities that just go all out for it. And that's what I love so much about it. And that goes for every sport up here in Oklahoma. And I think, they love football, but softball, they go all out for. They play fall and spring in some of our schools, so it's kind of a different field up here, but I think just the kind of the community, the alumni showing up to the games. I think that's kind of the closest comparison to Texas for Oklahoma and Texas. But obviously Texas, I don't think anything can compare.
Correct answer.
All right, so week 1, we're starting the Texas high school football season here. Sherman and Denison, the Battle of the Axe, longest continued rivalry in the state. I know that it has been a little lopsided looking towards Denison way the past couple of years, but I think something to be said about it is the fact that game is still as packed as it always is. What is it going to take this year for Sherman to be able to kind of turn that tide and finally pull one over on their rival?
I think, it's another year under Josh Alderman. They were 3-7 last year. But I think they got something to prove. I think they're hungry. I think that's kind of been their motto all off season is something to prove. They got that UTEP running back, Kane Bowen, can obviously be a threat on the offensive side. A couple guys return on the defensive side. First team all district Micah Hunt, a senior wide receiver, 6'2". They got some weapons. I love Josh Alderman. I love Sherman, but I think Denison does it again this year and makes it 12 straight years now. So, but like you said, it's still just such an amazing atmosphere, and you got alumni on both sides of the staff for both teams. Family split. It's like your Texas A&M house divided kind of scene. But it will be my first Battle of the Axe. I was an intern over the summer, last summer. And I got to kind of get a feel for it. I haven't been to a game, but I'll be going live multiple times come Friday. So we're really going to see what it's all about.
I figured that was the game that you were going to be at week 1 of the season. That's why I wanted to kind of ask you about it. But small school ball seems to be kind of the name of the game, I believe, in the Texoma region. Of course, you've got the powerhouse and Gunner. You've got Munster that's ranked, Honeygrove. And then you've also got teams that aren't ranked like Pottsboro and Whitesboro, but they're teams to keep your eye on. Talk about the small school ball in the area and which teams you think could make a run come playoff time.
Like you said, Gunner, I really think they do it, going for the 3-peat there. So obviously I think that's inevitable, but I really like Tioga. That's my man, Coach Birdwell down there. First 11-man playoff last year and third round of the playoffs, returned 5 of the 6 receivers. And Coach Birdwell, he said, quote, they got the most depth of skill players in 2A. I'm going to believe him. That's a kind of an offensive guru right there. I think they returned 3 wide receivers with over 500 yards. They have 2 QBs battling out, but, I think we could see a run there. I remember talking with him. He kind of mentioned, something about, maybe some guys moved out of his region kind of later in the playoffs that were kind of a threat. They maybe moved up or down, but I could see them, making another deep run. Like you said, Pottsboro, Whitesboro, two good teams, and they get back into the same districts. That'd be really cool, the Battle of the Borough, which we saw last year, but now actually in the same district. Pottsboro 15 straight playoffs, and they say they have one of the biggest senior classes they've seen. Obviously Major McBride, phenomenal running back there, is gone, but they get 3 of the 5 starting O-line back, which will be huge because, in my opinion, especially trenches win the ball games, and you can kind of really just stick anyone back there and let them find those holes, and they'll kind of eat. So I think Pottsboro is definitely a good team that can make a run, and obviously Whitesboro, same way. They're looking for their first district championship since 2017. They're a playoff punching machine as well. 12 of the last 13 seasons there, but there's a lot of unknown with Whitesboro. I think they're still young. They were young last year. They snuck up on some people. I think they sneak up on some people this year again. I don't really know how far it will take them, but they have less than 10 seniors there. But Cody Fagan, he's really good at what he does. So I like them. But also, I think a team, people are not really thinking about Tom Bean. First winning season in 15 years. They served a 2-year playoff ban, so they've been out there playing for just for the regular season. So, but I think they got a chance. They got 10 starters on both sides. Donnie Hooten is going to be their QB, and he looks like he can sling it. So I'm really excited to kind of watch them and see what they can do, because I feel like they can kind of make some noise. And then obviously, I guess lastly, Bells, they haven't really been able to get over that 3rd round hump, that slot T, putting in the work, but
we love
they're
the
always a team to watch as well.
I like where your head's at with Tioga. We're talking to Brigg Bates, the KTEN sports reporter out of the Texoma area. Brigg, I just got one more here for you. Lots of talent. You told us a lot about the teams. What is one player that you think maybe a little bit underrated that people should really be watching because they might come onto the scene this year?
I like Brock Body out of Gunner. I think he's going to be a real threat. Obviously, that Gunner offense is electric, and people, it's they're going for the 3-peat, but for years, and I've heard this from my other former boss. I think this is the class Gunner's been waiting for, and I think a guy like Body, just an athlete, dual sport athlete, can really turn up on both sides of the ball there at Gunner.
One more question for you, Brigg, before I let you go. and I can't let you go without asking about our alma mater. In one sentence only, how are the Colts going to do this year? The Arlington Colts, I should say.
I really hope they can figure it out. I love Coach Pete. I have to ask you a question. Is that the Cravens that like Arlington knows starting at quarterback over there?
I think so. I'll have to go back and double check. I got to see Arlington once at 7-on-7 this year, but I haven't been able to see them otherwise. Hopefully that they'll be able to make it into the playoffs. They usually do. They're usually a playoff team out there in that district. But we'll see. Always rooting for the Arlington Colts, but we'll see this year. Hopefully we'll see. But Brigg, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you taking the time, and best of luck out there at the Battle of the Axe. We'll definitely be tuning in to watch your reports.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hope y'all have a good rest of the season. I know busiest time of the year for y'all. So
thanks, Brigg. Appreciate it.